Most people wonder why Japan has one of the longest life expectancies in the world, why its cities remain remarkably clean, why trains run on time, why even in crowded places, people often seem calm, focused, and composed. It's easy to assume the answer is genetics, or strict rules, or some kind of cultural obedience, but those explanations miss something important. The real difference isn't loud, it isn't dramatic, and it isn't forced. It comes from tiny habits, practiced quietly every day. Habits so small they feel insignificant, so normal that people barely notice them. Yet over time, those habits shape how people think, how they move through the world, and how they treat one another. And when habits work quietly in the background, life itself begins to feel lighter. I'm in Japan, something becomes clear. People don't talk about rules very often. They don't feel like they're constantly being controlled. Most behaviors are learned early. Children watch their parents. They learn at home, at school, and through daily routines. They clean classrooms together. They eat lunch mindfully. They learn to move through shared spaces with awareness. By the time they're adults, these behaviors don't feel restrictive. They feel natural. Maintaining order doesn't create pressure, it removes it. When expectations are shared and predictable, daily life flows more smoothly. That reduction in mental friction is what many visitors describe as calm. One of the most influential ideas in Japan is Kaizen, the philosophy of continuous improvement. But Kaizen isn't about massive change. It's about making things just a little better every single day. In Japanese companies, workers are encouraged to notice small inefficiencies, a movement that can be simplified, a process that can be shortened by 1 second, a tool placed slightly closer. Individually, these improvements seem too small to matter, but over time they compound. Small gains stack quietly on top of one another. Progress feels manageable, sustainable, almost effortless. Kaizen works because it removes resistance. Change doesn't feel overwhelming, it feels possible. Another deeply rooted concept is Ikigai, your reason for being. It's the thing that makes life feel worth waking up for. In places like Okinawa, where many people live well past 100, almost everyone can explain their Ikigai. And it's rarely something grand. It might be tending a garden, teaching a skill, caring for family, creating something meaningful with your hands. Ikigai isn't about ambition, it's about direction. When people have a sense of purpose, daily routines gain structure. Life feels meaningful without urgency. And when life feels meaningful, people naturally take better care of themselves, both mentally and physically. One of the most overlooked habits in Japan is how people eat. Not what they eat, but how they approach meals. In Okinawa, there's a phrase called hara hachi bu. It means eating until you're about 80% full, not stuffed, not uncomfortable. There's also sankaku tabe, the practice of alternating bites between soup, rice, and side dishes. Meals slow down. Eating becomes balanced and intentional. Food isn't rushed. It isn't eaten while scrolling or standing. Meals become pauses in the day, moments to slow down and listen to the body. Over time, this simple habit quietly supports long-term health, without strict diets or extreme control. Here's what many people misunderstand. These habits don't work because Japanese people are more disciplined. They work because they simplify life. When behavior becomes automatic, the mind doesn't have to work as hard. When expectations are clear, stress decreases. When daily routines are predictable, the nervous system finally relaxes. Calm isn't created by forcing yourself to behave better. It's created by environments that quietly guide behavior in healthy directions. That's why visitors often notice something surprising. The calm feels contagious. Without trying, you begin to slow down. You start acting differently without being told to. Another important practice is Shinrin-yoku, often translated as forest bathing. Despite the name, it has nothing to do with exercise. It simply means spending quiet time in nature, walking slowly, breathing deeply, noticing sounds, light, and movement. In Japan, doctors sometimes recommend this practice to help manage stress. Research shows that time around trees can lower cortisol, reduce blood pressure, and improve mood. You don't need a forest in Japan to experience this. A local park, a tree-lined street, or a quiet path is enough. The key isn't effort, it's presence. Japanese culture also embraces wabi-sabi, the acceptance of imperfection. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing is flawless. Instead of chasing perfection, there's appreciation for things that show age and use. A worn table, a cracked bowl, a weathered surface. These aren't seen as defects, they're signs of life. Wabi-sabi reduces pressure. You stop comparing yourself to idealized images. You stop chasing impossible standards. By accepting imperfection, people experience less anxiety and less self-judgment. Life becomes quieter, more forgiving, and emotionally sustainable. There's also the concept of Gaman, enduring difficulty with dignity. It doesn't mean denying pain or pretending things don't hurt. It means acknowledging hardship without letting it control your behavior. You continue forward calmly, even when situations are uncomfortable. This quiet resilience is deeply respected. People don't need to broadcast their struggles to feel strong. Gaman reduces emotional escalation. It helps people face challenges without unnecessary conflict. Strength, in this sense, isn't loud or dramatic. It's steady, internal, and grounded. One habit that connects everything is Omoiyari, compassionate consideration for others. You see it everywhere. People speak quietly on trains. They line up naturally. They clean up after themselves for the next person. This isn't about fear of breaking rules. It's about awareness. Public spaces aren't treated as someone else's responsibility. The street is part of your home. The table matters to the next guest. When people consider how their actions affect others, trust increases, stress decreases, and society functions more smoothly for everyone. Kintsugi is the art of repairing broken objects with gold. Instead of hiding cracks, they are highlighted. The damage becomes part of the object's history, and often, the repaired piece is considered more beautiful than before. This philosophy carries a powerful message. Breaking doesn't mean something is ruined. Struggle doesn't erase value. When people experience hardship, those moments don't need to be hidden. They can become sources of strength and depth. The strongest people aren't those who never break. They're the ones who repair themselves with care and carry their experiences forward with pride. These habits aren't strict rules. They aren't cultural tricks. They're inherited wisdom, passed down quietly through daily life. People learn them by watching others, by practicing them from a young age, by experiencing how much easier life becomes when small details are handled with care. A calm life isn't built by doing more. It's built by reducing friction, by respecting shared spaces, by acting with intention. Not perfectly, not dramatically, but consistently. And over time, that consistency creates something rare, a life that feels balanced, grounded, and quietly peaceful.